Okay, so I'm going to tell you a very quick story just before I rush out to go to a wedding. It is a story that I've been meaning to tell for a while, and it's one about a business that I started and finished within about the space of 1 to 2 months, about 6 years ago. And it was part of a dream that I had to be a jewellery designer. It was at a time when I was trying out all sorts of different ideas and of ways to make money. So I'd quit my job in marketing. I was earning a living, doing as many things that felt as fun as possible. So I was teaching Spanish, I was doing events from San Francisco to Athens to Barcelona. I was selling burritos from a van in East London. I was working at festivals. I worked for a literary agent for a while. I was driving vans all over the UK. Anything went. My whole challenge was I wanted to prove to myself that I could earn a living doing things that were fun. And I was living on a very, very tiny shoestring, but it was worth it. And in that time I learned so much. It was one of the best things I could have done. But I always knew that what I really wanted was to be my own boss and run my own business. And so I decided to give it a go in a really small way. And one of the dreams I had was to be a jewellery designer. I was totally in love with the idea of the lifestyle that went with it. And also, I'm really into design, and I've always had a very creative side, so I thought maybe that was something I'd like to do. It gave me freedom, it gave me creativity, it gave me variety. I thought, right, I'm going to make a whole range of jewellery that I can sell at Christmas, because of course that's the time when people are looking for gifts. So that was my target. And then I spent about 3 to 4 weeks making these beads. And at the end, I probably had about 10 or 15 necklaces, maybe more, maybe 20, 25, I can't remember. I made, I think, roughly about £300, and I had people on my waiting list. The thing was, at the end of the process, I realised that the last thing in the world, in reality, that I actually wanted to do was to make jewellery, because it turned out to be the most repetitive and tedious and dull task that I could imagine doing. I was sitting there watching daytime TV, making one bead after the other, just the same thing over and over again. And I realised that I just wasn't, the reality of it didn't match the fantasy of it. But that didn't matter, because the big difference this made to me was the fact that I came up with an idea, I came up with a business within a really, really short space of time. I did it, I sold stuff, I made money. And I think it was from that point on that I really started to believe in myself. And I realised that I could trust myself and I could depend on myself to come up with ideas, to have the guts and have the, the gumption. To have the gumption to go and do it. And it didn't matter if it didn't work, it didn't matter if I realised this wasn't what I wanted to do, because I did it in such a short space of time and had so much fun doing it and learned so much in the process. The fact that I'm not today some successful jewellery designer, that part doesn't matter. I learned in the process of how to go about just the whole cycle of coming up with the idea, making it happen, going out there, really simply marketing. It really did mark for me the beginning of me starting to make money off my own back, because what I knew was that I did not want to be an employee anymore. It just launched me. It changed my perspective, it changed my mindset. It made me realise I could do this, that there was a way of doing this. This was a lot simpler than I actually thought. And it gave me the confidence and the courage to then go and follow the path that has taken me to where I am today. So it is with these small projects. They don't necessarily have to turn into the big business in the end, but they can make such a difference, particularly when you want to get started. Oh, I'm holding the necklace. I meant to be showing this. There's the necklace. Maybe I'll wear it to this wedding. Oh, maybe I will. There you go.